Hey guys, another exciting day in this fast-moving financial crisis. Yesterday, Senator Lankford of Oklahoma grilled Treasury Secretary Yellen on her plan to only fully cover deposits at the biggest banks, the so-called systemic risks or too big to fail banks. Now, if you only do standing bailouts for the big banks, that's of course a massive subsidy. It's a huge competitive advantage. The community banks cannot compete with that. And it's already draining large deposits out of community banks. The senator mentioned that. Secretary Yellen literally had no answer. She stammered how they're not trying to do this on purpose. She is a Ph.D. economist. She is a former Fed chair. She knows damn well what they're doing, and she's fine with it. Now, watching the federal government deliver community banks on a platter to the big four banks, it is proof that there is no ROI in the universe that can compare with a political donation. Forget trying to compete on the merits. Forget trying to innovate, create a business that serves Americans. You keep your political donations up and the world opens up to you. By the way, Yellen also admitted in that same testimony, you can find that it's running around the internet, rightly so. She admitted your bank account via the FDIC, your bank account will be taxed to bail out Chinese internet companies, including those working with the Chinese military who had money at Silicon Valley Bank. In fact, she framed the question as discrimination because that's what one does these days. It's also worth noting TARP, back in the last financial crisis that they caused, TARP also paid financial or foreign financial institutions. They always do that in a bailout. And that I want to get into depth on both the Chinese thing and the foreign in another video. So what is this all leading to? Financial oligopoly, big banks devouring community banks. We've already lost half of community banks over the past 20 years. Roughly half of all bank deposits are now concentrated in the top 4 or 5 banks, the too big to fail banks. Community banks are absolutely getting crushed. And the reason that matters is that there's a ton of research that money is sticky. Okay, if you park your deposits in the local bank, a lot more of that money is going to be lent locally. On the other hand, if your deposits are parked at Citibank or Bank of America, that doesn't come back to your community. That goes all over the country. It goes all over the world. So how should they have done all of this? Easy. Use the existing rules, the rules that we have had in place for 100 years. Banks fail every week, all the time. The FDIC knows how to work this out. It's very, very quick. It should be very, very quick. And the rules are you cover all depositors up to $250,000. That's plenty. That covers anybody who's middle class. If you've got $250,000 in the bank, you're doing all right. You're still covered. For the big depositors, they typically get a 15 to 20% haircut on their deposits after the FDIC works out the bank, meaning that they break it up and they sell it off to other banks. Whatever's left, they give back to you. Those would have covered this for everybody but the Silicon Valley VCs who mounted this massive PR campaign, and of course, the large banks who wanted this to happen. All right, over the next couple of videos, I'm going to get into the broader picture. I'm going to talk about CBDCs, which I think is a big part of the conversation here. And it's quite a dangerous thing, probably the biggest or the most dangerous financial innovation, arguably, since FDR seized the gold. And I'm going to talk about what's the end game here for the U.S. economy, the U.S. dollar, and our increasingly day-by-day fragile banking system. See you guys.